Now this is the disturbing story of Lynette Craft, and one that will be sure to send a chill down your spine, such is the frightening nature of what happened. This one may not be suitable for those of a particularly squeamish disposition, so tread carefully, my fellow soldier. This could get really nasty. Now on the outside it appeared that Lynette Craft had a wonderful life, where she was married to Thomas Craft, whom she had known since kindergarten. They were even childhood school sweethearts before they married one another at the tender age of 21 years old. The Craft couple were both natives of Whitewater, Wisconsin, and were thought of to be a lovely, friendly and down-to-earth people, just keeping themselves to themselves and nothing out of the ordinary. Even friends who knew them would describe them as a seemingly perfect couple, and whom were very much in love on the outside. Everything appeared as rosy as things could be, but beneath the veneer, and despite the outside being all hunky-dory and dandy, it was behind closed doors where Thomas Craft was becoming increasingly controlling, more sinister and abusive, with a pattern of behaviour that was disturbing and that exacerbated over time. And this included even forbidding Lynette from attending her brother's upcoming wedding. Lynette had been a devoted mother and homemaker, but nobody really knew what went on behind closed doors. Allegedly, Thomas Craft was an abuser, a controlling husband who was exerting his grip around every facet of Lynette's existence. People around Lynette had started to notice the telltale signs of domestic abuse, and also noted the change in her demeanour, which went from being friendly and chatty to sullen and distant over the years. Just a slow creep of evidence that not everything was as it seemed in the Craft household. Now friends heard from her less and less, and Lynette even told her loved ones that Thomas was systematically cutting her off from her friends bit by bit. Lynette increasingly confided in friends and family of the continual physical, sexual and emotional abuse that she was suffering, and it got to such a stage that Lynette decided to take her two young sons, Chris and Brian, and leave her husband. Unfortunately for Lynette, Tom had returned home while she was packing, and a fight ensued. A fight so brutal and so sadistic, so evil and demented, that it does not even bear thinking about. Such was the shocking carnage that Lynette faced, that was tragically the last time anyone would hear of Lynette ever again. In a horrific and unthinkable statement, Thomas Craft admitted to dismembering his wife after he claims that he had returned home on June the 28th to find Lynette had committed suicide, and he dismembered her to prevent anyone from finding out what she had done. What? Thomas Craft reiterated in court that he did not kill his wife. According to his version of events, Lynette committed suicide by stabbing herself, and to spare her deeply devout Christian family and their sons the pain of knowing how she died, Thomas chopped her dead body into pieces and tried to dispose of her so that no one would find out about her suicide. After dismembering her, he put her body parts into multiple trash bags and disposed of them in dumpsters throughout Ohio and Michigan. Thomas Craft's crime was discovered when an employee of one of the businesses whose dumpsters that Craft had used happened to open up one of the bags, as he knew that the bag wasn't supposed to be there, and upon opening it up, the chilling discovery was made. Later, even the coroner's report said that the exact cause of death was undeterminable. This made no sense, as she was dismembered and her body parts were found in garbage in various different locations by the man she had known practically all her life, her husband Thomas Craft. Thomas later entered into a plea deal with the state, and he pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter, abuse of a corpse and possession of criminal tools. So in 2000 he got sentenced to 12 years in prison. 12 years. This is a truly shocking story, with a gruesome chill that surrounds the events that took place on that fateful night that poor Lynette died. A fateful night that ended in a tragic death, and the true circumstances for which we will never know. A disturbing incident, and one that still makes you think how a romantic tale of childhood sweethearts could end up so tragically. What really happened, it doesn't bear thinking about. This is a disturbing tale of a life cut short at the hands of a brutal murderer who showed his victim no compassion as he snuffed out her life, and it's just too shocking to think about her last moments.